tengo otra presencia de lujo en mi super estudio. La verdad que me acompaña el astronauta Stanley. Ya voló al espacio y la verdad que bueno, le quiero dar la bienvenida. Welcome Stanley, how are you?
I'm well, thanks. How about you?
Pleasure to have you in my super studio.
I'm happy to be here.
I know you've been I remember last time when during the first launch attempt, you were very active with the media.
Yes.
And explaining every delay, every scrap. I think we are in a much better situation now. I don't know. I have the feeling that we are moving forward.
I hope so. And there have been no problems yet
So far.
But we got 6 hours to go.
We got 6 hours to go.
It's not a guarantee until the solid rocket's light.
Is there any major concerns that worries you the most in this process?
No.
Nothing.
There are a million things that could go wrong. But I agree. We have understood the rocket better since the first 3 attempts, and they're counting down. Things are going smoothly so far. The weather looks great, and fingers crossed, hopefully we get a launch.
Can you imagine a better situation to test a rocket that going there several times, roll out, roll back, several scraps that allows the team to review everything? A hurricane?
Yes.
Light storms.
Yes.
So really this was a process that allows the team to really understand the vehicle, and I have the feeling that now they know it, they really understand it, and they have a handle on it.
I agree with that, yeah. Hopefully there aren't any other big surprises waiting for us. And of course we would prefer if everything went well on the first try and we didn't have to try again, but it is a brand new vehicle, a lot of new systems, both on the ground and on the rocket itself. And when you use complicated things for the first time, it doesn't always go right.
Tell me about your views with Artemis. I had the chance to talk to Thomas Pesquet
Okay, yeah.
a couple of hours ago, and he was so excited. Mostly the fact that we are not going alone.
Yes.
This is the big difference with Apollo, that instead of being a one nation effort, rushing there, and only 12 people on the moon, and now we have the chance to go on a much more sustainable way and to stay there, to stay there for good.
Yes. So yeah, the first trips to the moon were national competition.
Yeah.
And the Artemis program is national cooperation. Right? We have the European Space Agency flying with us with the service module that they provided. We are going to have astronauts that better represent the population of the Earth.
Of course, more diversity.
Going to the moon, yeah, so that's all very positive to me. And I look forward to the day when space can be a part of everyone's world, everyone on Earth. I mean, the moon belongs to all of us. So this is a step toward that future in my view.
This is a question that I try to ask every astronaut. We've been 30 years in lower orbit.
Yep.
Learning a lot about the human body living in space. Are we ready to go to the moon?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Why?
We have understood very well how to make the trip to low Earth orbit, which is sort of the closest spot in space where you can go and not fall back down.
Yeah.
And we've gotten pretty good at that. You know, we ran a spacewalk today. We had a brand new cargo vehicle arrive a couple of days ago.
Yep.
Even with a broken solar array, it got okay. So we're getting pretty good at that, and it's really time to take the next step. The next goal is the moon. You can go there, you can put stuff there, and it'll stay. It's still a lot harder than low Earth orbit, so it's going to be difficult at first. But exploration goes in stages, and we're ready to make that next stage.
And the fact that we're going to have Gateway is going to be like a small continuation of the space station, but in another environment.
Yes, yeah. And its intent, part of its intent is to preserve the international cooperation of the International Space Station so that we keep the partnership after the space station has exceeded its life and we've deorbited it.
That's a good point. Is that the main objective of the Gateway?
It's hard to say what the main objective is, but it certainly is one of the key objectives. We need a place where we can put spacecraft together to go down to the moon. We need a communication station where we can look at the poles of the moon and down into the craters at the North and South Pole, which you can't see those from Earth.
Oh, yeah.
So we need that capability, but also it was felt early on that preserving the partnership with the International Space Station after the station has gone is important, because we've done so much together and it's made space so much more of a reality for the whole world, not just a couple of countries.
Are we still hoping that Russia can get along, can come with us?
I hope so. Don't tell anybody. I hope we can get along with the Chinese someday.
Of course.
And go together as a world. We're not there right now.
It's unbelievable how fast they are progressing. It's like
Yeah.
they understood exactly what the International Space Station was doing for 30 years, and now they're doing it like fast forward in like 2 years.
It is easy when you have an example to follow.
Of course.
It's harder to blaze the trail yourself.
But it would be really nice to have an open cooperation with them.
In my opinion, part of the goal of space exploration is to bring us
Everything.
together as a world and not just as nations.
Do you see yourself walking on the moon?
I'm getting kind of old, so probably not. But I
don't think so.
I will ask, and we'll see what happens.
What is the main objective once we settle? First, trying to the first mission on the surface, but then, what is the main objective of being on a base? It's more like a scientific. It's more like a understand the resources in order to get economic profit from it.
Yep.
It's a combination of both.
In my opinion, it's a combination of both, but the economic argument is difficult. As I mentioned before, the moon belongs to all of us, but right now only wealthy countries can afford to go there.
Yeah.
And there's debate, in the United Nations about a small subset of nations using the heritage of all nations, and that's a problem that I don't know how to solve. But the arguments must be heard, and we have to come up with an equitable answer. I don't know what that answer is. To me, a good model would be Antarctica.
Right.
So many nations claim Antarctica, and nobody recognizes each other's claims. Many nations have bases down there. They all do their own things, but if somebody's in trouble, at the base of a rival nation, you'll go to help, right? There's no question about that. Economic activity and military activity are not allowed in Antarctica, except for fishing in the seas
It's an
around
excellent
it.
analogy.
So I hope that the moon can become the Antarctic of the 21st century, whereas Antarctica was, a child of the 20th century.
Do you think we are mature enough to accomplish that?
That's a great question. I don't have the answer. I read some things in the news and I think absolutely there's no limit to what we can do as a species when we cooperate. And then I read other parts of the news and say, oh, we're hopeless.
Well, we need to start with Artemis I.
Artemis I.
We need to start with it and then go along and try to do our best. But thank you so much for your time.
You're welcome.
It's a pleasure to have you, and I hope everything goes smoothly and we have a lunch tonight.
My fingers are crossed. I'm hoping for the same.
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Un placer tenerlo a Stanley con nosotros, la verdad. Ha estado muy involucrado durante la misión pasada en explicarnos exactamente qué es lo que estaba pasando, yendo al press site permanentemente y hablando con los medios. Así que un placer tenerlo con nosotros. Gracias. Seguimos. Falta poco para el lanzamiento.